Well, hello there and welcome to Right on Webb and the Work on Progress series that I am offering for you. I know we are all a work in progress, but I think it's the working on progress is where we get things done. And what I'm talking about when I say that is the interactions that really move the needle. So today we're going to talk about methods. So I want to first share with you something that I do frequently, and that is I think about my thinking. And I question why I think the way that I think sometimes, right? Like as a mom, there have been times that I have said this to my boys, like, hey, my way is the right way. Do it this way. Let's get it done. Let's move on. I'm not going to spend all day arguing with you. Just do it. Am I alone? I hope not. I hope you're like, oh yeah, no, I do that too. But I like to take the time and actually think about why I do that. Because one of the things that I did notice quite a while ago is that when I would be teaching my children, especially the ones that had spent more time in a typical traditional classroom, environment, they would come home, whether I was helping them with homework or once I was homeschooling them myself, I would say like, hey, so this is how we're going to do it. And do you know what my kids would say? Like, hello, I'm the teacher. I have a credential to back me up. Didn't matter. My kids would still say things like, Mom, that's not how my teacher taught me. Oh, yes. It happens to all of us. So if you're like, yeah, that happens to us too, you're not alone. Just know that. But what I got to notice when I started realizing, my kids don't listen to my ideas or my opinions, I thought, this is time for some self-reflection. So metacognition is when we think about our thinking, right? We think in a methodology, right? There's a way that we get to the places that we get because of what we think and what we choose to believe. You've seen in other videos that I've done, I talk about this. Every thought is optional. So every thought that you're choosing. Now, you may not be doing it on purpose. You may have believed it for so long, it feels so true, but it's just a thought. Thoughts aren't true or false. They're just, do you believe it or not? Is it true to you? It doesn't mean that it's true to the universe. Right? So this is really important. Metacognition, taking time to think about our thinking, really important. And when I've done this with my journal and sitting at my desk in the morning, I always like to give myself at least 10 to 15 minutes to get into my head and take a close look. So I would realize that there would be times where I'd be like, hey, babe, I just want you to be open to considering things my way. This especially was true with math. I think this happens a lot with math, right? There's so many different ways these days that kids are taught to get to the answer, to get to the solution. There's so many different ways to get there. You and I both know that. We know that there are multiple ways. We have a favorite way. Maybe the teacher's being told to taught a different way. Maybe the student, it makes more sense in a specific way. All good. It's all good. But we realize there's multiple ways. Well, here's what I realized. In my lifetime, there have been so many times that I've done the exact same thing to my kids that my kids did to me. When they would say, hey, that's not how my teacher taught me. Or they would say, nope, that's not the way that I learn best. I would often come at them with my opinion. And I would say things like, when Derek was like, hey, I have an idea, a new way to wash the dog, which sounded ridiculous to do it like in the bathtub where we would get the whole bathroom super messy. And he was like, no, I've seen people do it. And I'm like, I think that bathing the dog outside is so much better. And I would shut down his way of doing things, his suggestion, because I would say something like, nope, this is how we wash the dog. It works. We're good. They're outside. They get to dry off. I have all my reasons. There you go. How is that different, really, than my child saying to me, well, that's not how my teacher taught me, right? My child's coming at me with a method that worked for him. And I have a method, let's say, for the example of bathing our dog, that worked for me, and I'm being closed-minded too. Often our children are a reflection of us. So if we've been closed-minded, and then we expect them to be open-minded when it comes to considering different ways to doing things, we may have an uphill battle on our hands. Something to think about, yeah? This has happened in our family. It's dinner time. I don't care if you're not hungry. You need to eat what's on your plate. And yet in my life, if I'm not hungry, I don't eat. Why? Why is that? Why can't I tell my child, hey, if you're not hungry, honey, that's fine. I'm going to put this, I'm going to cover it with saran wrap, or I'm going to put it in, this container. I'm going to put it in the fridge for when you are hungry. There's food there when you are hungry. Is it because society tells me I'm giving my child too much control? Is that a thought I want to believe? Or do I want to believe no, I'm trusting my child's method of being able to tell when he is hungry by the cues in his own body. He can still sit at the table. We can still have great family conversation and discussion and sit there with his glass of water and be a part of that and not eat, right? Question what you believe. Question your thoughts. It's so empowering. You will also hear from other amazing homeschooling parents, and they have thoughts. And they have methods that they're going to say, nope, this is how the good homeschoolers do it. Yeah. Go on to any homeschooling Facebook group. There are opinions out there, my friend. There are a lot of methods. And some people are very stern within their own. They don't budge. They do not budge. And yet they're the same people that expect their child to consider different ways of doing things. It just has me thinking. And this is that interaction that I'm talking about. We need to work on being open-minded in a homeschool capacity. This is Eleanor Roosevelt, former First Lady. She has a quote that I really love that says, nothing we learn in this world is ever wasted. Learning is never a problem. It's what we do with what we learn that matters. Yeah? So when I go into how I feel as a homeschooling mom and consider ways that I want to be in the future, since I am in charge of the decisions I make today that are creating that future self, this is what I believe. You can believe it if you want to, but let me be so clear. This is my thought. I'm offering it to you if you like it. If you're like, you know what? That resonates with me. In my brain, what Melissa is saying, it holds some truth. It makes some good sense. Great. And if not, totally okay too. But this is what I choose to believe. I like to break the mold and learn new methods every year. I'm always learning because learning is never wasted time. So 3 things I want to offer you. Number 1, as you move forward into this next semester, just consider other points of views from other homeschooling people who are ahead of you in that experience, from your children. Consider their point of view. Ask them, what are you thinking about this? And then know that whatever you're told, whatever you hear, you get to keep it if you like it and disregard it if you don't. Nobody's going to infiltrate your mind if you don't let them. Okay? I just think that's powerful. Listen without an opinion. If you're all of a sudden feeling a little convicted, you're like, oh my goodness, I've been really stern for a long time. I haven't budged on several different points that either my spouse, my children, my peer group, whatever it could be. Just listen without an opinion. Don't close something down without considering it. Recently, I've opened up a course to help homeschooling parents plan out their entire school year from a bird's eye view using Google Sheets in 5 days. Yeah, just 5 days. And my whole goal is to show them, hey, when you take the time, and it doesn't have to be painstaking, take the time, fill out your whole year using Google Sheets with all the live links. It is going to give you the roadmap you need. And it's going to change your whole year and make it so much better. I'm going to show you how it worked for me. I have had homeschooling parents say, I would never try that because just technology is not my thing. And I'm like, okay, And inside, I'm like, oh, I wish she were more open-minded to a new method. Oh, I wish she would give herself some credit. Because a much better thought would be, well, let me listen to how this works. Let me go check it out. Let me see exactly what you're talking about. And then decide, and then form your opinion. You'll either be like, oh, I actually could do this, or no, it's not for me. Again, go back to that first one. You can keep it or disregard what other information you learn. All right, so you're going to listen without an opinion, and don't forget to ask questions. That is really critical. Ask questions. When you're not sure about something, if your child says, but Mom, my teacher taught me this way, ask questions. Show me how your teacher taught you. That will really nurture a beautiful conversation and relationship and value that you are giving your child, and your child will see in you. Hey, I just want you to know that these quick little interaction series pieces are intended to encourage and inspire you. If you want to connect with me, you can always subscribe to this station. That's perfectly fine. But you can also find me on my website. You can go to rightonwebb.com or rightonmelissawebb.com. And there I can connect with you on different levels and be a bigger, better support to whatever it is you may be working on. Keep being a great work on progress.